All right, here's the walkthrough of my week 4 Linux assignment. As you can see, this is me doing some of the Linux stuff, which was using the command echo to see which shell I was using. Also, this is me looking at all of the directories under my current area, which is home at Chase LG3. I then went to the home directory and did ls again just to see what was under home, and it was just Chase LG3. So then I went to the slash directory, and then that gave me all of these, which are the directories under just the slash. And I did all this so I could build my hierarchy. This is me playing around with some different things, trying to see if I could change directories and figuring out that I have to kind of do this to get back to where I was. I did see, here's some more of that. This is me looking at that echo path to see what it pulls up on here. Then as we get further down, me moving around a little bit, me trying out the dot, and then seeing where the dot took me, which it took me to cost 1030. Then I did cd // desktop and then saw where that took me. And so that's what we're looking at right there. We get further down. So right here is where I made my program. And as you see, the first time I ran my program, I messed up and didn't enter -O. I entered in -0. Then I tried to compile again, and I got these couple errors. So I went in and changed some things. By the end of it, I ran it for age 66, hours 16, out of state 3200, and that's because the 66 took precedence. It was the most important statement because it canceled out everything else pretty much. And then I ran it for a different age. I haven't ran it for part-time yet, so maybe I'll try that real quick and see how that turns out. -/test. What is your age? We'll say 64. How many hours? We did 11 hours for part-time. And this shouldn't matter either, but we'll do that. Yep, 3,630. So that shows that the part-time is also working under there. I'll now go into it so that way you can take a look at what it was called. And so yeah, this is the tuition.cpp file under week 4 under my COSC or computer science 1030. So tuition.cpp. Oh, I just realized I wrote this twice in here. Oops, I thought I had deleted it when I had scrolled up, and so I retyped it, and now it's there again. But anyway, Chase Sanchez program calculating tuition. Wrote that twice, and this is just an IO stream using namespace std. The first integers that are important that I declared is age and credit hours. Then I used bool for the end state, whether or not that was true or false, declared with like a 1 or 0. And then I declared tuition as a double. So then as the cout statement, I ask, what is your age? And then they enter in their age for the integer age. Then how many credit hours will you take? Cin credit hours for that integer. And then for the cout statement, I put if in state enter 1, if out of state, enter 0. So obviously, because as a bool, it registers 1s as trues and 0s for false. So I asked him to do that to make it simple. And then the in statement. In state, that's the input of whatever they use as the 1 or 0. So for my first if statement that I decided was the most important, and you can look at that when I wrote out my steps trying to determine how to do this. I realized that age is probably the most important, because if they're over 65, we can ignore everything else and just times the tuition, the credit hours by the $200 amount. And so if they weren't next 65, the next most important would be if they're part-time, because that, again, you can cancel out all the other calculations to come, and we could just do credit hours times 330, and that's the else if. Now, if obviously we weren't 65 and our credit hours were greater than 12, we then decide if we are in state or not, and that's that bool statement. If it is 1, that makes the statement true. So then next is if credit hours are less than or equal to 15, tuition equals credit hours times 250. Else if credit hours is less than or equal to 21, since they don't charge you for anything between 15 and 21, the tuition would still be 15 times 250. And if it's over 21, you then take however many credit hours are over 21 and times that by $125, and you add that to the 15 times 250, because that's, they've had to have done 15 hours if they're all the way up to 22. And then if they're not in state, we just get an else statement to clear it all up. And it's pretty much the same thing as the above. We just changed the amount that it's getting multiplied by, $736 for under 15 hours, 15 and under. And then hours over 21 is 368. And then I see out this message. So that's how I did that. I will turn in a copy of this too, but this is just my wrote out stuff, my steps 1 and 2 kind of combined together, figuring out what's most important, doing the multiplication, and kind of making a pseudo run of steps, and then trying out a few different inputs again. And then I got into writing my code and testing it. So, yep, that's it for week 4 programming assignment.